Thinking of investing, working, or starting a business in the cannabis industry? We've got you covered right here on Plant Problems. Hosted by Tony Frischknecht, Plant Problems takes a different approach to cannabis than what you're seeing and hearing from the mainstream media. Come along with Tony and be in the know about how to invest, work, or start a cannabis business. Let's get the show started with your host, Tony Frischknecht.
Hey everybody, this is Tony Frischknecht and welcome to Plant Problems. I appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day, whether they're taking a walk down the street with their dog or they're just sipping on their coffee. I really appreciate all my listeners out there and checking out what's new in the cannabis industry. You know, I was kicking around some different ideas on what I should talk about, and something that kind of came to me was, what the cannabis owner was just a few short years ago. And the stereotypes behind that. I know for many years, people have been, especially when we started even on the medical side, when medicals really started getting big in 2009, everybody thought we were just a bunch of potheads smoking and watching our plants grow. And for those of us that have been around for over a decade working on this, and several decades, yes, there was some times when there was more smoking happening than working, but that has steadily changed because it's had to in order to become a better business owner and create a thriving business. People have had to adapt. And if they didn't adapt, they were kicked out of the door. And that was it. I mean, we've got a lot of people out there that are meeting with senators, meeting with city council members. They're well-dressed. They don't have long hair and beards. They're just like anybody else that you would see on the street. But yet they're either advocates or they have a business in the cannabis industry. It's really amazing to see. And it was a very short time ago when that wasn't happening. And the message is starting to get out. People are starting to understand. I think just the fact that California is going through their second year of full legalization, since they are such a big part of, they have such a large economy and a big part of the United States, I think people are starting to get a better image of what the cannabis owner is. And we're serious business people. Now, there are some guys that are outside our industry that are sharks and people that can take over companies. And those guys are starting to come into our industry. And, it's our job as advocates for this plant and to show them that, hey, they can't just push us around. We're not stupid. We've been through a lot to get to this point. And there's nobody that's going to take advantage of us at this as we move forward. I see there's some very unique things happening in the hemp world that I think are going to translate over to the THC world here very soon. These guys are just farmers. I've been watching these guys risking a lot, going out and planting 10, 20, 30 acres. Some of them are in the hundreds of acres that have been doing this for a while. They're real people just like you and me, I mean, back in the day, there were a lot of outlaws and there were a lot of underground farmers, and everybody has looked at that as that's the stereotype, and breaking that is so exciting. And, we've got people showing up to Washington, D.C. in suits and attorneys, and the change that's happening in D.C. with, I'm just thinking of all the women that are in Congress now, which is incredible. Somebody pointed that out to me the other day. They're like, whether you're a fan of Trump or not, you definitely can tell that there's a switch happening on the Capitol, and there's a lot more women that are in power. So, and I know we've got a lot that are advocating for the cannabis industry too, so that's great. And I think this shows the progression of what's happening and how close we're getting to legalization. People are starting to just become comfortable with the fact that the sky is not falling and the earth is not ending. We see Canada as perfect example. They've had their challenges just like everybody else has, but they still did it, and they're pushing forward and pursuing their second year in legalization up there. So I feel very fortunate to be a part of this time, and the opportunities that are coming down the pipe are incredible. So if anybody out there is digging into this industry right now, I couldn't think of a better time, really. You've got huge momentum going in your case. People are understanding the plant. Hemp has been legalized, and that's going to produce a bunch of opportunities. I mean, there's dozens of opportunities in that. And the medical side, people are focusing more on medical, and we're seeing that there's scientists getting involved and universities getting involved, and just all the old days of the pothead are just starting to be forgotten. And I can truly say that right now and believe it, because I've been seeing it, and firsthand, I've got friends that are hemp farmers going through their challenges and trying to figure out their plant and how it's going to work for them. And these guys are, they're risk takers and entrepreneurs trying to make it in the world of cannabis. And it's fantastic to see. And I really think that you guys that are paying attention to the opportunities out there are going to, if they take advantage of what's coming down the pipe and take advantage of some unreal opportunities, they're going to set themselves up for their future, whether it be owning a big business or cashing out in the next 5 to 10 years and being a multimillionaire. It's an incredible place to be. And, there are still, there's definitely still a lot of illegal grow operations happening. And that's okay. This is a part of legalizing the product. The more busts we see and the more enforcement that happens, the more we see that prohibition is failing and regulations are being enforced. That's what this whole thing is about. So if you have people in your family or friends that are out there that are saying, this is terrible, what's going on? See, I told you, they're still doing it illegally. If you didn't hear about any people getting indicted or busted or in trouble, then the system wouldn't be working, but it is. So take that and tell them that. Say, if we didn't hear about all these, we know it wouldn't be working. Well, this is how regulations and enforcement work. I've had conversations with people and they're arguing with me about it, and they're like, well, it's because it's working. And we're getting safer products and we're understanding the plant more. And this all tying it all back into the stereotype and what people thought, what it used to be and what it is now is night and day. You've got guys that have came out of the underground and they've created something legitimate, and they are positive members of society paying taxes. Now there are still illegal things happening, but it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before we will be eliminating 90% of the black market, and people will just see this in their everyday lives. And if you haven't been to any legalized states and you're curious, go take a look at states like California. Go take a look at states like Colorado. Of course, I'm a little biased to Colorado, but if you haven't been, and go take a look at places like Nevada. I was just out in Las Vegas. I mean, they've got this store done up. I'm not going to say the name, but they've got these stores that are done up. They have it set up like an Apple store, and they're changing the stereotype to what people think, because those days are gone. Those days are over. And we're time for the next generation of people that are utilizing the plant for either medical purposes, pain, and also relaxation. It's amazing to be here and see it all happen in front of my face. And I want to try to get the word out there so you guys take a look at and go to some of these different dispensaries. Every state's a little bit different, but check out some of the different dispensaries and see how business oriented these people are, because they have to be. I think Nevada's a really good example. They've had gaming and legalized gambling there for so long. They know how to run, they know how to stay in compliance and be regulated, because that's their everything. They know that if they step out of line, they're done. And you don't see that in a lot of industries. So for safety and health-wise, I think we still have a lot to learn, but we're headed on the right track. So I hope you guys feel the same out there, and please share with me if you want me to find some more information out or talk about another subject, and I'd be happy to fill that in. You can go to my website at blackmarketbook.com, and you can request in there. I've got an area where you can request. I believe you can ask questions there. I will also have my podcast tied to that. We'll be setting up something very soon where questions and Q&A can happen through there as well. So I hope you guys are doing great today, and thanks again for listening in wherever you're at. And I look forward to talking to you very soon. You guys have a great day, and bye for now.
You've just listened to another insightful episode of Plant Problems. If you like what you heard so far, don't forget to tell your friends and colleagues. For additional resources or to leave a review, head over to plantproblem.com. Join us again next week on Plant Problems with Tony Frischknecht. We look forward to having conversations with you as we go along this journey.